Alright, we're in Perth, Western Australia. We've got a beautiful day today. Palm trees next door, yep. Got a beautiful sky. We've got no clouds whatsoever in the sky. Trees, things, everything's all around. Yeah, you've got the sun up there. Just show you how nice and clear it is. It's supposed to be about 24 degrees or something today, which is pretty cool today for a change. Otherwise, we're going to go inside our little shed here. Workshop, whatever you want to call it, Ted's place, yep. And we're going to give you a review. Well, I've been asked to do a review on my lathe, the AL356V, so that's what we're going to attempt. Now, would you believe that within 24 hours, our weather went from the beautiful, most sunniest days you can get into this real dark, gloomy, well, it's supposed to be going into winter anyway, but you can see how quickly it goes. It goes from melting one day to a few days later it's pouring down. But anyway, we'll get back into the workshop. Yeah, g'day. What we've got here is this is my AL356V, and what V stands for, it's a variable speed. You just turn this knob forwards and backwards, select your ratios, and it'll go from 0 to 2000 RPM. I'll bring the camera in shortly and I'll show the RPMs and everything else here. So what we've got our saddle, and with the saddle there's also, people don't realise, you put an Allen key in there and there's actually a saddle lock right there, so you can't move it. So that's I've just left that there. Now also incorporating this particular unit is where your dial gauge is, your thread dial. This actually got 3 different geared teeth on there, so that'll depict 3 different ratios according to what thread you're cutting. It'll do. It also does imperial as well as metric. This one here, as you pull it down, you've got your speed on the chuck. Also, if you lift it upwards, you've got that's reverse. Now, there's a couple of safety features on this. As you pull it down, you put it right down there, you just barely touch it and it stops. Now, it's electric operated stop on it. It's not hand brakes and things like this. It's actually electrically done. Now, also another safety feature with that going, as soon as you lift it, that's automatically a safety as well. So you've got that. Now, as you can see, you can go forwards, backwards, whatever. Now, it's got, with it running, if you're going to do screw cutting or anything like that, you can pull that down. I'll bring that back. When your dial's turning, you bring it back to wherever you like, and then you just pull this straight down. Okay, what we're going to do is for screw cutting, or not necessarily screw cutting, but also if you just want to do a fast delivery or something like this, you can put it into motion there. I'll just slide down 324 RPM. As soon as I pull that down, the carriage will go forwards and it'll keep on going until you actually stop it. If you need to stop it for emergency, you can either lift the handle back up or you can touch your foot brake. The only problem is when you touch your foot brake, you have to bring it back into its neutral position. So that's that part. Now, also you've got the area here which is for your very slow speed. That'll give you a very, very slow cut on the actual thing when you're doing fine cutting or whatever you want to do. If you pull that back in again and lift it up, then you've got your compound going across, which will face a plate or whatever you want to do. Just bring that back, but you always make sure that's right up before you can select that unit. Otherwise, you can't operate 2 different sections. So that's virtually that part. You've got a fully adjustable quick release unit. So that goes through. So it's no problem to select that. You can push that off and you can just change your tool and put it over your tool. And as you see up there on the slack, I just keep most of my gear that I use all the time. So that's pretty well that in. Now at the same time you've got your tailstock here. At the moment I've just got my drill here. If you want it, or chuck I mean, sorry. If you want to, you just take that out like so. And if you want to put a center, like that's a full floating, you just pull that forward, pull that in, and then that's your full center. Now on the back here you've got an arm here, that's that one there, that will go through and lock at a position, and depending on how tight you get it, then that's what it is. Now on here there's another smaller lock here which is for the quill part, so you can put it whatever you like in there, that's still turning whatever, and then you just lock it straight up and that's not going to go anywhere. So that's that part. Now you got a full slide sort of thing. There is a bolt here which will stop that coming off, so it can't fall off. So that's that part. Now when you're moving the machine brand spanking, on the Hafco machines there's actually about a 32mm hole here, and there's one over there which goes straight through. So what you're supposed to do is put a big steel bar through there which comes out on the other side, then you put your slings on there and then lift it straight up. You don't lift it up on the bed or on the headrest, you could damage it or warp it or whatever. Now that's that part of it. As you can see I've got the pads down there which I've made up. They're all 4140 on here, so that is levelled. So it takes probably half an hour now, sometimes 2 hours. This way so you can check all that out. You've also got your water there. So water, coolant, whatever you like. So, and then that's just consistent, depends on how much you want to go through. Now on here you have got a light as well, so that's quite a good unit. Now on here, when you've lifted that up, this is a D15 unit which has got 6 cam locks in here. Now what I generally do is I mark the positions for unlock and lock and where it's actually locked in, and I'll bring it close up a bit later on that. Now also it comes with an 8-inch 3-jaw standard. It's also got an 8-inch 4-jaw standard as well. Then there's also a face plate and everything goes with it. Put that down so then it's fully operational again, like so. Now we've got a switch here which is a variable speed. That's going 884 RPM. You can drop that down to pretty well nothing. When you stop your motor, you can just flick that across. Just make sure it's connected here, and that is your low gear, which will go up from 220 to 40 to 400 RPM, and that's fully variable. So, which comes in quite handy, especially if you're drilling a hole, or if you're going to cut a thread and you want to put into your, whatever you hold it in. It doesn't just bite straight through it. So that's that part. Now all of these units are here are fully adjustable. These are mainly for doing your speeds and feeds and things like this, depending on whatever ratios you've got. So this particular chart here, and I'll bring you up shortly and show you, that one is for your actually compound cross slide sort of thing. So your compound is this way, and the saddle is going forward. So that gives you all of your speeds and feeds on here. The center one here is your metric. So that's all your different ratios, whether you're running 1.5mm thread or whatever. Down here you've got your imperial. Now down here there's a ratio set of gears which is included with this one. Like I said, there's 3 different gears here, well behind it, but they're the ratios I've written down, and they will be according to what thread you're going to do, whether it's imperial, whether it's metric, whether it's 1.5 or 1.25, whatever thread you're doing. There's a set of gears. You just pull that up and down, just take the bolt out and that goes up and down, then it goes onto your feet on the back here. So that's that part there. Now also we've got a DRO on there. Now as I move the saddle backwards, that's what we get. Now what I'll do, if I zero, I just press that to 0 and that one to 0. So now if I pull the saddle back, that's movement on the saddle. If I go on the compound slide, go across left or right, that's what I get there. Now If I decide to go from metric to imperial, I just press that button there and enter, and that suddenly automatically becomes thousandths of an inch. So depends on what you're doing. You can bring that forward, backwards, whatever. See, so that's 1.453. Now if you bring it back into metric, you just press it like so, and it's automatically into metric. So you can go backwards and forwards all day long depending on what you're working on. So that's the DRO. There's just so many combinations you'd have to go through and do whatever you need to do. Now this machine, as I said, it also comes with a forward rest which normally bolts in here. It comes up here. Then you got a steady rest which you got your big, your hole or whatever you want to call it with everything. Like I said, these parts down here, as you can see, that is the actual hole where your steel goes through. Now this is a removable tray, and your fluid down there actually goes down there, or your cutting fluid, and it goes in there. And then there's a, I'll just bring you around and I'll show you. Okay, we've got our cover. We just take the cover off here, and in here you've got your pump, and that actually your fluid return comes down through the pipe, goes in there, goes up through the pump, then it circulates back again. So that's that part, and that's pretty well with your cover back on here. You've got your electric sensors and things like this that go through. Like I said, that is a close-up of your pedal. The pedal only is just barely touched, and that's all. These are the actual ratios here. That's a gear teeth I've got on here as well. Then that is your handle which goes through, and that's for your compound slide which goes in that way, and it goes for forward and backwards on your actual saddle. Now, so what happens then is you've got your high-low ratio. Actually, I'll just turn it back on again. So as you can see, you've got your speed there. Now if I come back a bit here, as soon as I turn the knob, that's first your slow speed, whatever you like. Now what happens is you've got a fairly good ratio set up here. As you can see, these ones here, that's mainly for your compound and cross slides assembly. That depends on which levers in the A, B, C or whatever. That will depend on the speeds and feeds in here. This one here is for your metric. Now with the metric you can turn around and you've got many ratios. It depends, you've got A, B, C, D, etc. But then you've got your levers, which are these ones here. It depends on where you're sitting in here, and it's the same thing for your normal threads, and then you've got your speeds in here. When we come back to the side here, we open that up, and you've got a set of gears here. Now with these gears you've got a 127 on the outside, 120 on the inside, and then your main drive here which goes to your chuck. That will depend on what you want to do. Now at the moment what I do, I don't know if anybody's interested, I just chalk in what I've got. So my top gear here which is 30 teeth, I'm using a 120 which is on the back, and the other gear which goes to the gearbox is a 40 tooth. So when we have a look at that, we say, okay, we've got a, like I said, okay, so if we've got it right now on AC, so we look down here and we say we've got AC, we go across here, which is, if we've got it on 2 and an S there, see we've got 2 and S, and that gives us a 1.5 ratio, right? But now that's when it depends on what gears you've got on here. So according to that, if I've got it on 1.5, the top one is a 30 tooth, and the bottom one is a 40 tooth, and your main here is 127. So when we have a look here, that's exactly the same. So this machine is now set up to cut a 1.5 metric thread, right? So that's good. As another safety, there's a special switch here, so that when the door's open it's not supposed to operate. Now also on here you've got a spider. Now the spider has 4 bolts. You're going to open that right up. The actual spindle on here is actually 52 mil. On this 52.5, but the actual spindle is 52 mil or thereabouts. Now you've got your 4 bolts, so you can centralize that. You can put a piece coming out 1/2 meter or a meter if you want. It doesn't really matter. So by the time you have that coupled up with a spider and all of that, it's a pretty secure thing system. Now also these are all steel gears. Now if you wanted to change that, you just undo that. You have to move this of course, and then you just put whatever ratio you want, and that will also, now that piece there, the gear will actually reverse or whichever way you want it. And that part here shows you, that's for your speed, rotation, everything else. Yeah, that's your, depends whether you want to cut left or right hand thread, depends on which way you feed all of that. Other than that, that's just a very, very quick review. I just hope that will help somebody out. Anyway, that's about it, I think. These are the actual pads I've made. You know, call them adjustable feet, whatever you like. They're 90 mil by 35 mil, 4140. Other than that, yeah, I'll leave it at that. You don't want it too long, and that should be quite good. Thank you for watching.